What if I told you that you can change your life right now? What if I told you that all it takes is a flip of a switch and a change of a mindset? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the power of the mindset. And I got three things that's going to help you change your mindset and understand why mindset is important. No, this isn't no hocus pocus fairy dust that you see on the internet and gurus tell you. This is real life things that I've also tried, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. My name is Ahmad, man. As I am Candle Co. CEO, founder, you know what I'm saying, all that. And I'm a content creator, man, but I'm also a candle maker. Been making candles now about 5, 6 years. And it's just my experience in my entrepreneurship journey as well as in my life. And I hope that this video is going to bless you. I got 3 points and a bonus, so stay to the end to get all of it. And let me know what you thinking in the comments. Let's get straight into it. So first thing, I know we talk about power mindset and people talk about all the time. I think recently in my life, I've really started to understand how important the mindset is, right? As a person, I'm not gonna say that I've been negative. I have been negative in my life. I'm not gonna deny it. I have. I've complained in my life because I think just like all of us, life can be challenging. And it hits us in the mouth when we don't expect it. And it's like it's easy to moan and groan, and sometimes that's reasonable. Like it's understandable when hard things happen in your life. You know what I mean? It's understandable to go negative. It's understanding to complain. It's all of that stuff is understandable. But I think one day I woke up and I just decided I didn't want to be angry anymore. And it doesn't mean that I don't get angry from time to time. I just realized, I'm tired of complaining about these things. What can I do to change my life? You know what I mean? I used to watch this documentary. It was called "You Can Change Your Life," and I never really understood like how does this mindset thing work? People talk about this manifestation and mindset and this hocus pocus. Like how does this work? Well, I'm going to tell you how it worked for me, right? So the first thing is understanding that your mindset literally determines what you notice, right? It changes your perspective. That's the first thing it does. It alters your perspective, right? It's just like the car theory. When you first, for me, I got a Chevy Malibu, right? So when I first bought a Chevy Malibu, I didn't see no Chevy Malibus on the road. Now every time I drive my car, all I see is Chevy Malibus, right? It's the same thing. Or if you got a red car, now all you see is red cars. It's literally like your mind decides what it wants to focus on based on what's in your mind. And I guess that's why they also talk about how the power of tongue is so effective, which I can make another video about that if you want that. I'll make another video. Just drop that in the comment. Power of the tongue is also very effective because when you say certain words, your mind starts to resonate with it, right? And so I used to always understand. I used to be like, well, how if I say I'm broke? I'm broke. I am broke. Like I don't have no money. Like how does that affect me? But your mind already knows what broke means because you know what broke means, right? So because your mind knows what broke means, because you already know what broke means and what the definition of broke means, it's a feeling that is evoked by you saying the word broke. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you keep saying those things, it can kind of start to manifest in your life over and over and over again. Just like if you say, I do have wealth, it doesn't mean that wealth shows up right now, but it does mean that you are leaning towards the path of wealth. So the first thing is to understand that you become what you perceive. Like whatever your mind focus on, that's what it sees, right? Your mind focus on what it perceives. Whatever your perspective is, that's what you focus on. So if all you see is that red car, that's all you see. You'll miss the blue, you miss the green, you'll miss this because you're focused on the red car, right? So the next part of that, second part is understanding that your mind focused based on your perspective. Your perspective becomes your reality, right? And so your perspective becoming your reality, it doesn't mean that it is reality, but it does mean that it becomes your reality. So it's almost like a virtual reality. We all are living in our different realities. So kind of, it's like when you have laser vision, what you see is what you focus on. That becomes your reality. And sometimes it's like when you're walking and you don't see stuff in your peripheral, or you see it, but you don't have a full idea what that thing is that's in the back. It's like, oh, I see something, might be a person, and you turn around and it's a dog. You know what I mean? But in your mind, it was a person because you seen a shadow and it looked large. So your mind assumed that it was a person, right? That's another thing. Like your mind can only process what you feed it. Like it literally can only process what you feed it. So if you telling your mind, if your mind sees a shadow and the shadows are already assumed with being a person, your mind thinks that's a person, and then you turn around, it's a dog. That's because your mind has been processed to think if I see a shadow and it's a large shadow, the only thing that's large enough to be a shadow is a person. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So it's like your perspective becomes your reality because of the fact what you see is what's going on in your mind. Your mind says, okay, I see cars, red car, red car. We got a red car. So that means my mind wants me to see other red cars. I want to see other red cars. So my mind is starting to illuminate other red cars. Your mind can only process what it sees. Your mind doesn't see, you see. And your mind translates what you see into the reality that it is. So even if it's not technically reality, it becomes your reality because that becomes all that you see. Does that make sense? Are you guys still following me? So first thing is understanding that you have to change your mindset. Your mindset, is your perspective, right? And you change your perspective, you change what you see, and then that changes your reality. It might not necessarily initially change your reality, but it changes how you perceive your reality to be. So even if stuff is challenging in life, if you see it as like, okay, man, my life is hard. And I was this way. My life is so hard, man. I see all I see is negative, negative, negative. Then that's what it is. But if you start to see it as one, this is a learning moment, or two, this is me proving to the universe that I want this thing, because challenges come not only because life is challenging, but sometimes it comes because it shows how hard are you going to double down on that thing that you want. I know this sounds crazy, but it's like this is literally like been processing in my life. You know what I mean? So this is why I'm speaking on it now, because I'm starting to see how real this is becoming. Like I think last week I was I was thinking to myself, because I watch a lot of like positive mindset videos at work, and I was just telling myself, how is this real? Like, how can this become real in my life? And I'm gonna give a small example of this. Like, so I had a guy come work on my car, my Chevy Malibu, and I was like, let me just get this man some water. So I was like, hey man, you want some water? He's like, nah, man, it's hot. I said, bro, I work in the sun all day long. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing you some water. And in my mind, I thought, okay, I'm not just gonna bring him one water. I just give him two waters. So I gave him two waters, and he put it in his truck, right? And so this is kind of how mindset works, or how like your reality kind of shapes itself based on what you see. Literally, I think 2 days later, I was at work yesterday. And there's two incidents that happened at work yesterday. I'm gonna talk about the first one. The first one was a lady came to me. She said, "You must be so hot." I said, "No, I'm okay. I got water in the van." She's like, "No, here's two waters for you and some granola bars." And I was just like, and it didn't process to me at first. I was like, oh, thank you. Because sometimes people do give you stuff, not often, you know what I mean? But it does happen. So, and then I thought about it. I said, is this like a way of God or the universe showing me that this works in practice? Because I gave this guy, water the other day. And I know it seems like silly, frilly stuff, but it's like I gave the guy water the other day, and he was like, nah, I'm okay. I don't need it. And then literally I said the same thing to this lady, and she gave me water and granola bars, almost in like I'm returning your act to you tenfold. You know what I'm saying? So it's trippy, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's trippy. And so that's one way that it works. It just becomes your reality. And another thought about that reality, and I'm gonna get to the next point, is it it also determines how you react when you have negative stimuli, right? So another incident that happened yesterday, I was at work and I was driving to a customer. And sometimes things happen in your life because of things that you've done to other people. Sometimes they just come to see how you react. I was in a great mood yesterday. Like, I was in a fantastic mood. I had my music going. I had been listening to my podcast. My energy was up. And this customer literally came with like the ultimate haymaker. You know what I'm saying? I get out my truck yesterday and he's just cussing at me. And at first I started laughing because sometimes, like, I be delivering in the country. So sometimes people just be saying some crazy stuff. But he was like, what is he talking about? Is he drunk? But he literally was cussing. He's like, get the off my property. He's like, you driving through my grass. And I'm like, whoa, like, I didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And so I just processed for a little bit. And then, like, an older version of me, I'd be like, bro, who is this dude talking to, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? And he literally was like, if you want to take it there, we can take you there. And I hesitated, and then I laughed, and I was like, no, sir. I said, you're right. I was on your property. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I came in the wrong way, because a lot of them, they don't have driveways. So when you're delivering them, you kind of have to drive through their grass, because it might be like a duck off, and this might be their road, but it's not a real road. So I just apologize. I said, I apologize when I came in last time, I didn't know. He was just like, drop your stuff and get off my property. He was just talking crazy, reckless. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to get in my van. And I got in my van and I drove off with his package. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still a little petty, but with his package. But I don't know how he responded. I immediately called my supervisor, and I went through the metrics and all this other stuff, and she was like, "You handled that the right way. You did the right thing." And I had to think about it. I said, "Man, if I wasn't in such a good mood in my mind, what if I was having a bad day, and he said something crazy to me because he having a bad day, and now I'm having a bad day, and now I ain't got no job. You know what I'm saying? Or now we out there, squaring up like." And I was wanted to go there, but literally, like I had told my girl, I called about it. And she was like, "Oh, he did it." Like she was going off for me, and I was like, "It's not that serious because he doesn't affect me." You know what I mean? Because this is my reality. My reality that I live in is that I'm not gonna let what you do affect who I am today. I'm not. Like I'm not, because at the end of the day, if something happens, the only person I can be responsible for is me. So this is how mindset is important. This is how you change your perspective, and your perspective becomes your reality, right? So let's get into the third one. Your reality affects your consistency, and it affects your actions, right? So how is this true? How does your reality affect your consistency and your actions? Because, for example, say I want to go to the gym, right? And it's like I'm telling myself, man, I'm trying to go work out. I'm tired of working out. I'm this, I'm that. Like I'm trying to be consistent. I'm trying to be consistent. Versus if I'm telling myself, I'm somebody who takes care of my body. I'm somebody who thinks my health is important. I'm somebody who takes my health very seriously. You see how that tone is different? Even if I'm not working out and going to the gym, I'm still taking care of my body. It could be about what I'm saying. It could be about what I'm thinking. It could be about what I'm eating. And that opens up the whole Pandora box, because your mindset doesn't just become, okay, I I need to work out, I need to work out to take care of my body, this, that, and third. It literally becomes I I love my body. You know what I'm saying? I am somebody who honors and takes care of my body, right? So that starts to expand your mind beyond just working out. It starts to expand your mind to, okay, what other ways can I take care of my body? Oh, I need sleep. What I'm saying? Let me monitor my sleep pattern. Oh, I need to eat. Let me try to eat a certain way. You know what I mean? You're changing your mind, because now your mind is saying, oh, I'm not just trying to work out. I'm trying to take care of my body as a whole. What are things that I can, and then your mind starts to see, okay, he's trying to take care of his body as a whole. What are things that he can do okay, these are things that he can focus on to take care of his body as a whole. Does this make sense how it's all coming? It's trippy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like these things are, and I've struggled with this for so long, like years, because I've been trying to figure this out. And like now the pieces are trying to like click together in my mind. And it's like I listen to this stuff all day that you kind of start to believe it. But to me, it's real, or it's becoming real. Like, and it's because it's manifested even in the way that I do content, right? Let's think about this for a second. So if you're a content creator, just drop in the chat. If you're still here, I appreciate this. I know it's been a long video. I'm sorry. But if you're still here, drop this in the chat. If you're a content creator, sometimes we can overthink our content, right? Sometimes we can make things so hard on ourselves by the way we think. But literally, I started seeing other content creators do this kind of like headshot style. And I'm like, man, that's something that I can do. And then I started to see other ways that I was making my content hard on myself. You know what I'm saying? By the way I was thinking, because I'm like, well, nobody's going to want to see this. It's going to be too this. It's going to be too hard for this. And literally, I'm just talking and my thoughts, and that becomes a reality. But when I'm starting to say, like, I don't have to work hard for content, man. I just need to show up, and I need to be who I am authentically. Then people start to gravitate to you who, you know what I'm saying, who want that authenticity. And if that's not the case, your mind starts to highlight that instead of highlighting this. Oh, I said I want authenticity. So even though it might be negativity going on in my life, my mind is focusing on the authenticity, and that affects my actions. How does it affect my actions? Because now, if I'm focused on authenticity, I'm thinking authenticity, I'm focused on authenticity, I'm moving towards authenticity. So instead of going this way, I'm going this way because my mind isn't focused on that. So literally with the guy yesterday, I was in a great mood. So even though he came with his negativity for whatever he had going on, because I was in a great mood and I was focused on staying in a great mood, I'm like, I'm not going to focus on whatever you got going on. I'm going this way. And that literally, I did not allow that to ruin my day. And when I took back to work, they said, hey, sign this paper. We're going to take that guy off your route. You don't got to worry about it. See, works out in my favor. And if he does have to see me again, he's just gonna be upset that he has to see me, but it's not gonna change what I'm doing because I'm not allowing how he responds to direct what I'm gonna do. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? So this is the power of mindset, man. And if you're still here, here's the bonus. I appreciate you for staying in. Here's the bonus if you're still here. Everything is affected by how you think. Life has its challenges, but how do you combat that? So this is literally, I've learned this, that it's not about what happens to you, it's always about how you react to it. Life has its challenges. That's just life. You know what I mean? And notice I didn't say life is hard. Notice I said life has its challenges. Because things are challenging. When you see that life is hard, that's all you see is life is hard. But when you see, life has its challenges, life can be, life has its challenges, life has its ups and downs. Then you start to see, oh, these are challenges, which means that if it's a challenge, that means it can be beat, which means that I can overcome it. So you are overcomers, man. I know this video is really long. I hope this video helped. Till next time, peace.